Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down week number 3 in the National Football League. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman, right there with my co-host with the background there, Mr. Israel Rivera, CEO of Prime Sports World. Obviously very excited about his Packers as they pull out a victory out of the jaws of defeat. We'll get to that game here momentarily. But let's first talk about just the NFL. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you do miss us live, we have a plethora of streaming platforms. And if you're wondering where our good buddy, Mr. Christian Simpson is, he's breaking down Monday Night Football. You can check him out over on his Twitter page. That's at the dailyblitz.blog. So go check out Christian over there. I've shared his handle and all the chats, so go check him out. But let's talk about the NFL, week number 3. Let's start with the first game, which is Thursday Night Football. And we got the San Francisco 49ers putting a thumping on the New York Football Giants in Heinz Field, or whatever they call it, Levi Stadium, 30-12. Dan Jones, 22 of 32, 132 yards and a pick. No touchdowns thrown for him. Matthew Breida, responsible for the only touchdown the New York Giants scored in this game. Darius Slayton, receiver for the Giants. On the other side, Brock Purdy, as efficient as ever, 25 of 37, 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey also had a rushing touchdown, and Deebo Samuel and Roddy Bell had the receiving touchdowns for the San Francisco 49ers as they go up and win this game fairly easy. Also, welcome to the show, my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Let's talk about this game.
What's there to talk about? There's levels to it.
Oh, let's talk about it. Well, yeah, like you want it quick and easy. You want it quick and fast. Well, I'll tell you, no Saquon Barkley. Yeah, this offense struggled. And you know what? They've been struggling pretty much all year, all season. The wide receiver room is real bleak. The defense really hasn't impressed me. We thought that this defense was going to be improved. They haven't really been able to stop virtually anybody. They let Arizona and Joshua Dobbs get off, and that's not saying nothing. I mean, because the Dallas Cowboys just let them do it this week. We'll get to it. But the New York Football Giants, they disappointed this week. But also on the flip side, I mean, it's kudos to the 49ers. I mean, they're a dominant football team defensively and offensively. Christian McCaffrey's putting up MVP type numbers. If I had to have, one of the front runners for MVP, I mean, it'd probably have to be him and Tua right now. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey is the engine that makes this thing go. And we saw, Deebo Samuel without Brandon Ayuk. We saw Deebo Samuel lead the charge in the wide receiver, and we saw George Kittle make some big plays down there in the second half. And Brock Purdy, he is efficient as they come. So, this score didn't surprise me at all. And plus, your man, I won some good money off a $12 parlay bet on this game, right? $12. I won $400. I won $300 and some dollars. So I was feeling pretty happy about these 49ers last Thursday.
Like I said, it's levels. So it's like I can't fault Brock Purdy for taking advantage of the position that he's in. Right, but for those to say like, "Oh, Brock Purdy's for real," he's there. I'm like, look what's around him.
Best offensive line in football. What skill positions up to players better than any other team in the NFL outside of the Miami Dolphins.
Even though Trent Williams was making some bonehead plays, I think in the second quarter.
Yeah, he threw a punch. He threw a punch. Actually, if you know Trent Williams, that's not that uncharacteristic. He's a pretty hot.
No, but he had some other penalties that were uncharacteristic too.
Like Colin Cowherd, he on there. Brock Purdy's for real. I'm like, I would hope so. When you got like David said, you got that offensive line, you got those weapons, you got that head coach, and the only reason they saying that is because Trey Lance failed. That's literally it.
Well, we said this earlier, though, TJ, in the season. I mean, you don't really need much out of Brock Purdy, but to be a point guard, just be accurate in the intermediate throws. Everybody else is going to do their thing. You got a clean pocket. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, you and Brandon Ayuk, you get them the ball. You get Christian McCaffrey the ball. They're going to do. You got 4 playmakers right there on your team. So,
and on the Giants, real quick, and on the Giants side again. I understand, like, the San Francisco 49ers defense is going to do that to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you paid Daniel Jones $40 million.
A lot of money.
Yep.
A lot
For
of money,
12
son.
points.
Dude needs to be better than this. He's been terrible in 2 games. He's been just okay in 1. Moving on from this game from Thursday night, let's talk about Sunday afternoon. First game as the blowouts came in immense amount here in Sunday afternoon football. We'll first start in Cleveland, where they beat down the Tennessee Titans 27-3. Ryan Tannehill, 13-25, 104 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry, 11 carries for 20 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, I can't believe this is what you signed up for, 3 for 48. On the other side, probably Deshaun Watson's best game as a Cleveland Brown by far, 27 of 33, 289 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jerome Ford, first NFL touchdown for Jerome Ford. Shout out to him. Congratulations. And Amari Cooper and Jerome Ford also had receiving touchdowns over the century mark for Amari Cooper. This game bodes well for the future of the Cleveland Browns. Is Deshaun Watson finally looked like what you paid him all that money for to look like on the field, and what he gave up 3 first-round picks for.
Mm-hmm.
He needed that because there were reports of them talking about voiding that contract if he continued to play like he did, if he continued to get the penalties that he got. He needed that.
Yep.
The fan base needed that. And what'd you say, 27-33?
Yeah, 27-33, 289.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
He legit probably hasn't done that since his Houston days. That's
100% true. He wasn't good at all last season when he came back off the suspension.
Like for a confidence boost, he 100% needed that. So hopefully next Sunday, I don't know who they play. We'll get into that tomorrow. Next Sunday, he can piggyback off this and ride this momentum going forward.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to double team Myles Garrett for all
they play the Ravens next week at home.
Oh, that's
get to them. They disappointed.
And real quick before you go, Izzy, on the Tennessee side, all right, I don't need to see Ryan Tannehill anymore.
You know what? That was gonna be my point, TJ, because you basically took everything out from the Browns. I don't need to see Ryan Tannehill anymore, David. Let's put in Malik Willis. Let's put in Will Levis. I don't care what you do. Just we don't need to see him no more. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, they don't need to see him no more.
Moving on from this game, the second blowout that we're going to talk about here on Sunday afternoon. I guess this isn't really technically a blowout, but this game really was not close. As the Detroit Lions beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-6 for the Detroit Lions' second home game this season. Desmond Ridder 21 of 38, 201, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Bijan Robinson 10 carries for 33 yards. Kyle Pitts 5 catches for 41. On the Lions side, Jared Goff 22 of 33, 243 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Jahmyr Gibbs with Dave Montgomery out of action had 17 carries in this game for 80 yards. And the Sun God went over the century mark. And Sam Laporta got his first NFL touchdown in this game.
Sam Laporta's a nice tight end. I mean, that kid's probably the best. He's been the best tight end so far this year, hands down, as a rookie. I mean, as like out of the rookie tight ends.
I'm not sure that's saying a lot, but all right.
No. I mean, there's he for where he got picked. I mean, you got Dalton Kincaid. You had a few. I don't forget who else. Michael Mayer. You had Luke Musgrave. I mean, you got a lot of talented tight ends out there. And he's the best of all of them. Man, like I said, man, hey, this Atlanta team, they're still a young team, very talented. They're gonna have their ups and downs. This Detroit team, needed a bounce back win from last week, losing to Seattle. So they bounced back in a big way. Defense looked great. Offense was clicking on all cylinders, and Bijan Robinson, got his, rookie. Welcome to the NFL, and not everything is going to be like you at Texas, right? You got 10 carries for 33 yards. They didn't get the running game going. They didn't get pretty much anything going. It's going to happen.
It ain't the Big 12 defenses no more.
7 sacks on Desmond Ridder for this front seven.
And if I'm Atlanta, all right, you gotta. We got 3 games of Desmond Ridder as the guy. He was okay in one. He was okay in the second one. He was bad in this one. This team, David talks about how good this team is all the time, but like especially talent wise, you have a legit shot at winning your division. Like you have a legit shot at winning your division. At some point in time, if I'm Arthur Smith, I'm not finna wait for you to figure this out. Hey, Heineke, get in there. Because I know you can make the plays that he's not making right now.
You got to
So,
roll with Desmond Ritter, I think, TJ.
I'm not
To
so
see
sure
to see
about.
what you got.
I'm not so
To see
sure
what
about
you
that.
got.
I think
No,
if
to see
this,
what you got. You're not
I,
no
I,
rush. It's not a make or break year for Atlanta. They're young. They don't
it's
need they
true.
don't need they don't need to make the playoffs this year. If they could see some improvement, you really want to keep Desmond Ritter out there because now you get to evaluate if he's the man or not. If he's not, you have a deep quarterback class next year coming
It's
up.
true.
So that's
Move,
that's my take on the Atlanta Falcons, to be honest with you. So
moving on from this game, we're going to talk about the game that Izzy's been dying to talk about as Jordan Love makes his Lambeau debut and comes back from 17-0 to win this game in the fourth quarter. They win 18-17. Derek Carr, 13 of 18, 103 yards and a touchdown. Derek Carr also left this game in the third quarter, did not return. All the reports out of New Orleans so far have been fairly positive. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be season ending, as many people may have thought it was going to be. So he should be back at some point this season. James Winston came in 10 of 16 for 101 yards. Kendrick Miller got the start with everybody out, Jamal Williams.
Tony Jones Jr.
Yeah, it's 9 of 34. And Chris Olave goes over the century mark for the second time this season, 8 of 104. Michael Thomas also had 6 catches, 50 yards. And then on the Packers side of this, Jordan Love, 22 of 44, 259, a touchdown and a pick. He was also leading rusher, and he had a rushing touchdown. Romeo Doubs had the lone receiving touchdown for the Green Bay Packers, as this was definitely a tale of three quarters. Green Bay looked terrible. And then in the fourth quarter, they basically turned it on and came back in a big way and won this game. Also, New Orleans kicking themselves right now for trading away Will Lutz for literally no reason whatsoever. And this rookie they brought in missed the game-winning kick.
no,
He did.
Stuff.
I mean, he missed it. Like he missed the kick, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have came down to a kick. You were up 17-0. You had Green Bay legit asking questions about Jordan Love because that first half was not good. That first half couldn't have been that first half was bad. It was bad.
You gotta give him you gotta give him a little bit of slack though. He's missing 2 offensive linemen. He's missing Aaron Jones, which the offense is predicated on, and he's missing probably his top weapon in Christian Watson.
So here's the thing.
But my thing is with he still hasn't made throws. My bad, TJ. I'll let you go. He still hasn't made throws that make you say, where the hell is he going there? Like I was listening to James Jones earlier, and I agree with him. Like he's not making those throws where it's like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell where is he throwing at? Like, it just the offense was a little stale in the first 3 quarters. And to be fair, the defense did only hold them to 10 points because the other 7 came on a kick return.
Punt return, yeah. But here's the thing with Jordan Love. It's again, and to me, he's in a lose-lose situation because you sat for 3 years, you learned from one of the best. You have to be good. Because if you're bad, it's you sat for 3 years, you learned from one of the best. How are you bad? So he has to go out there and basically be lights out. That's really the only choice he has. On the other end, if you're the Saints, it's you can't say if Derek Carr doesn't get hurt, we win this game. You're up 17-0, and that's probably true. If Derek Carr doesn't land on his shoulder, that you probably do win this game, right? But at the end of the day, you're up 17-0. All you really need is one drive that ends in 3 points, and Jameis Winston couldn't get you that. Now that's why if you're Jameis Winston, that's why Tampa Bay decided to move on from you. The kicker, I don't know. First off, Trevor Penny's probably the most hated man in New Orleans right now. He did not have a good second half. It was penalties. It was just a bad game for Trevor Penny.
No Jair Alexander in this game too, by the way. The defense, the defense actually, when Jameis Winston, I agree with you, TJ, that all you needed was really one good drive. 3 points would have probably sealed it. A touchdown would have just put it away. But the defense made life a living hell for Jameis Winston. I mean, they got to his face. I mean, Rashawn Gary had 3 sacks. He was the guy that knocked out Derek Carr in this game. And so, and that's football. But at the same time, I mean, when I look at the end of the third quarter to all of the fourth quarter, Jordan Love, I mean, this is his first full-time gig as a starter. Jordan Love in the last quarter and a half, he looked Aaron Rodgers-esque. I mean, he's making all the throws. He's moving like a young Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you see the play. That's DeMario Davis right there. That's DeMario Davis. He juked out his shoes. And it's for a rushing touchdown. And then the drive to score the go-ahead touchdown where he's running on the sideline, he makes that maneuver on the sideline. That's Aaron Rodgers. We're used to seeing Aaron Rodgers in the beginning of his career doing stuff like that. He's making throws. There were 2 throws where what's his name? Reed dropped. I think Dontavian Wicks dropped in the fourth quarter where he put it on the money. I mean, he was throwing these balls on dimes. And then even the ones that he did throw on dimes, thank God they caught him. The back shoulder throw to Romeo Doubs looked absolutely gorgeous. So, I mean, this kid, he's got 8 touchdowns, 1 interception in 3 football games, and he probably should be 3-0 because they gave away that game last week in Atlanta. So
this kid is they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't move the ball that last.
But I'm gonna say this before we move on: they are incredibly lucky that they came away with the win in this game. That's all I got to say.
Moving on to the most recent, to another blowout from Sunday afternoon. One of the historic blowouts.
I'm gonna let TJ handle this one.
Miami Dolphins put up 70 points. Miami Dolphins scored so many points. I have not seen the highlights of every touchdown yet. Like 10 touchdowns. They had 10 touchdowns. I have not seen all 10. He scored so many touchdowns I haven't seen. They can't put them all into a replay package. They beat down the Miami Broncos 70-20. Russell Wilson 23 of 38, 36 yards.
David, don't do that. Don't do that. You ain't got to read it out.
Yeah, we're not even gonna talk about the Broncos because you
ain't got to read off the stats.
All right, go.
I'm talking with my older brother and my cousin, and I'm like, I want to hear a damn thing about Russ. This is all on Sean Payton. Say what you want about Nathaniel Hackett, right? We can agree last season was bad. He was in over his head. Mind you, the plan wasn't for Nathaniel Hackett to be paired with Russell Wilson. It was for Nathaniel Hackett to be paired with his old friend Aaron Rodgers. Those talks fell through for whatever reason. Say what you want about Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett never let a team hang 70 on his head. Never. That whole last season.
It's the most points scored since 1966.
So if you're Sean Payton and you up here telling folks, like you called out Nathaniel Hackett for his bad coaching. You're telling Russell Wilson, stop kissing babies. You're a football you're a football
like
player.
Quarterback. You're a quarterback.
You're a football player. You're a quarterback, not an effing politician. And you go out there and you let a team hang 70 on your head.
That's embarrassing.
That's an understatement. But you should not be allowed to show you were brought in to elevate everybody, and somehow, some way, it's gotten worse. And I can attest to talking about worse because I saw what my team did yesterday. Now, granted, it's the tale between 2 different teams. Like one team was at the very bottom, the other team was at the very top. That's what's supposed to happen when you're a bottom feeder team playing against the upper echelon of the league, right? But this right here, David brought it up he brings it up all the time. If you just scored 18 points a game last season, that's 11 wins and you're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This Broncos team, and I don't know what contract is looking worse right now, his or Deshaun Watson, because while we praise Deshaun Watson, this is legit his first good game in Cleveland. Russ ain't had a good game yet. Russ has not had a memorable game for the right reasons as a Denver Bronco. it's just been mishap after mishap. You got the bad game against against Seattle where they go to the red zone, they can't punch it in, then they waste all the time in the world to kick a 66-yard field goal that, bro, you're in Seattle, not Denver. Then you let Derek Carr and Devontae Adams walk off on you in overtime. Like he literally waved bye to your crowd. Like he caught the ball, waved bye, and then walked into the end zone. Like you got to. And on top of this, you got Tua doing a no-look shovel pass.
He did 2 of them in this game.
He did 2 of them. I'm sorry, I only saw the one. I only saw one. And then you got Tua doing no-look shovel pass. This is the same Tua, by the way, that Sean Payton said when he was in studio that Tua is going to be out of the league by like next year or something like that. And Sean Payton, you'd be lucky to make it to week 8 by the way your team's looking. I'm so serious.
Absolutely. No, I don't have not much to say. The only thing I gotta say is you better fix it soon, like TJ said, or else you're gonna be fired Herm Edwards style.
Now, on the Dolphins side, the only thing I'll say is this: like, this is why they say coaching really matters, because we saw Tua under Brian Flores, and it's night and day. Now under Brian Flores, Tua might be having those questions asked about him, but then you get a Mike McDaniels in, and it's just like, hey, we're legit gonna replicate what you did in college. We're gonna get you a bunch of fast dudes that can't nobody catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the play. Well, can I say something about? And then we can move on. Man, Mike McDaniels is an absolute mad genius, because his play designs, his run designs are probably the best in the league right now.
And look at who he learned from. Like, you learned from Kyle Shanahan. So like, yeah, and who basically Mike Shanahan, because it's the same thing. So like, yeah.
I don't know. They got a little. He's got a little pizzazz on his stuff, though. Yeah. I'm not seeing the 49ers do this type of stuff.
They ain't got the speed they got either.
They don't got. Nobody's got the speed that they got. Moving on from this game, Los Angeles Chargers try to give this one away to Minnesota, but they pull out the victory 28-24. Let me tell you right now, if Minnesota had come back and won this game after that fourth down decision by Brandon Staley, I think he would have got fired on the spot. But they don't get the touchdown. They don't convert. Minnesota loses this game 28-24. They fall to 0-3. Chargers now 1-2. Justin Herbert, extremely efficient. 40 of 47 with 3 touchdowns. Joshua Kelly got the start again with Austin Eckler being out, 11 carries for 12 yards, as they basically did not run the ball in this game. Keenan Allen went over 200 yards. He also has the most over 15 reception games of any player who's ever played in the National Football League, with 215 yards in this game. Mike Williams, unfortunately, probably going to miss the rest of the season with an injury, but he had over 100 yards receiving in this game. He had a touchdown. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, 32 of 50, 367, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Justin Jefferson had 149 yards receiving.
Because that's just Justin Jefferson does. That's just what he does.
It's true.
Absolutely.
But big shout out to Keenan Allen in the record books now. Most games with over 15 receptions in the history of the league.
Damn. First off, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Kirk Cousins blame the crowd noise?
Yes, he did.
For that last play?
Yep.
Crowd noise. Bro, if you just want out, say you want out. Minnesota
Viking faithful. I'm sorry to tell you, but your team's in a rebuild. I mean, as much as you want to say they're not, they're in a rebuild. You get rid of all the guys that you got rid of in the offseason.
But here's their saving grace. At least get
rid of Dalvin Cook.
At least they know who the building blocks are. At least they know who.
That's true. That's true.
Jefferson, right on the offensive side. Jefferson, Jordan.
They have the tackle. His name is Christian Darrisaw is one of those building block pieces.
And you got an offensive minded head coach and Kevin O'Connell. Defensively, we'll get to that when we get to that. I'm seeing a lot of Kirk Cousins to the Jets talk. So I don't know if it'd be like Kirk Cousins for Zach Wilson straight up, plus some other stuff. because we'll get to them in a minute too. Like they don't want to see Zach Wilson play another game for the New York Jets. It's just that bad.
It's true. Kirk Cousins on pace right now to throw for over 6,000 yards right now.
That would be the first time. That would be the first one ever. That's never happened.
He's on pace to throw for 6,000 yards. Like, it's not Kirk Cousins.
Like that would obliterate the record. Peyton Manning set. But if so, first off, Chargers finally got that win again.
Finally closed the game.
By the skin of their teeth, they closed the game. Like it took two deflections for them to close that game.
Kenneth Murray to get his hands on that football.
Right. So that being said, defensively, I'm Brandon Staley. This is your calling card. This is your side of the ball. You have everything that you need. You got elite pass rushers. Your secondary is not terrible. Like you got playmakers in the secondary. Your linebackers, that's probably the weakest part of your defense. And I'm putting weak in quotation marks because those dudes can play too. And you let Kirk Cousins. I mean, I understand it's Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the game. You let him do what he did, but it's like this should not have come down to a pick in the red zone. Like you
gotta first of all, you gotta punt that football away. Minnesota didn't have any timeouts left. Minnesota didn't have any timeouts. Like if they, I'm telling you right now, if they had lost that game yesterday, he would have gotten fired. That's just a dice roll that you can't not make. Like Brandon Staley, I think a lot of people respect him for rolling the dice as often as he does. You just can't make that decision. You just can't.
He's made too many of those decisions, we've seen it backfired on him before.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you on that assessment.
Moving on from this game, we're going to swing back. We're staying in the AFC. This time, we're going to talk about the New England Patriots and their continued dominance over the New York Jets. 15 wins in a row as they go into MetLife Stadium and beat the New York Jets. Mac Jones, 15-29, 201, one touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 16 for 80. Pharaoh Brown had the lone receiving touchdown for the New England Patriots. Zach Wilson, another game where he's just woefully inefficient. 18 of 36, 157 yards. Dalvin Cook, 8 carries for 18 yards. This team is averaging 1.7 yards a carry in this game. Garrett Wilson, 5 for 48. I'm not even sure where their touchdown came from. But
man, that frustration is real. You can see it on their face. They do not want Zach Wilson playing quarterback for them. I don't know what they got to do, but also let me look at it defensively, man. They dropped a few picks in here that they could have had against Mac Jones. So, the fault goes around, on both sides, but it's a close game. But yeah, the Jets are, they're missing that one piece, and that's quarterback. And it's going to be a long season for them if they can't figure that one out. They're gonna pretty much waste a really good defense this season if they can't figure that position out. I mean, I'd even swing a trade. I'd even call up the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, what you want for Taylor Heineke? I mean, what do you want for some of these guys that are sitting on the bench that can contribute right away? So Gardner Minshew whenever Anthony Richardson comes back. Somebody to come help this damn team. Because this guy Zach Wilson, he doesn't have it. And I said this for the longest of time, even when he came out of BYU, he was erratic with his throws, he was erratic with his play style. He can't read the defense to save his life, and you're seeing it in the NFL. So you can't give that guy too much time. You're giving him way too much damn time to look this damn terrible. I know we talk about a lot of people talk about Justin Fields and how he's not a QB, but at least Justin Fields, shows you something. He rushed for 1,000 yards last season. I mean, without those 1,000 yards, probably the Bears go, 0-6, 0-17, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So, you got to show me something, and he doesn't show me anything. So,
Nick Bawden, first career touchdown in the National Football League. So, kudos to him. As a member of the Jets, he's the fullback. He went to San Diego State. I think he's a former rugby player because he's only been in the league 3. Yeah, he's only been in the league 3 years, but he's only 27 years old.
Okay.
73.
I think the bigger number here is 15 straight, man. 15 straight. You've lost 15 straight to one team. 15. 15 straight. Like the last time you beat this team, Ryan Fitzpatrick's beard was a little shorter. It was just a little bit shorter. It's kind of like what David got, maybe a little longer than what David got. And Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback. He won. He won down in Tampa wearing like being all iced out with 50 chains on and the shirt open. You know, like the last time you beat this team, I don't even know who was the coach because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Rex. Wait, was it Rex?
I don't know. We went through this
No,
last time. I can't remember who it was.
I can't either. But like, yeah, you ain't beat this team since Ryan Fitzpatrick was your quarterback. That boogeyman syndrome is real because it's like it's almost like, yo, what at this point, what can we do? What can we like? This is one of those things like you know who you play. Like, this is one of those game plans out the window type games.
Might have been
like,
Eric Mangini.
no, okay, no, that's too far back. That's too far back. That's way too far back.
Might have
That's
been
way
though.
that's
I mean, the man genius.
that's
Yeah.
way too far back. Yeah, Zach Wilson is. Whew, Izzy, you got like to your point. At least Justin Fields has shown something
Right.
with his arm and his legs. Right? The narrative about the two of them is still the same, right? Both are in terrible coaching situations. Both, a lot of people feel like both guys are being held back by the coaching that they're getting, and both, a lot of people feel like a change of scenery would do both of them a lot of justice, not some justice, a lot of justice. In Zach Wilson's case, you should be more ahead of where you are because from a fundamental standpoint, your team's ahead of where the Bears are. You got the Super Bowl caliber defense. You should like you know what you should be like you should be Mitch Trubisky in 2018. That's where you should be right now. Like that's 100% where you should be right now. Like you should be Mitch Trubisky, Brock Purdy right now. Like just go out there, don't turn the ball over, get the ball to Garrett Wilson, get the ball to Alan Lazard, CJ Uzoma, skill position guys out and quick. But for some reason, you're not doing that.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the beatdown in Landover, Maryland, where the Buffalo Bills brought Sam Howell back down to earth for sure, beating them 37-3. Josh Allen, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. James Cook, almost 100 yards rushing, 98. Stephon Diggs, over 100 yards receiving. Sam Howell threw 4 interceptions. Brian Robinson Jr. punched in 70 yards on the ground. Curtis Samuel was the leading receiver with 54 yards as the Buffalo Bills showed Sam Howell, hey, this is the NFL.
Hey, I got one word for the Washington Redskins performance this weekend. Like that one dude on social media, TJ.
What?
Sorry, the Washington Commanders. Sorry. Mayday. Wait, no, I got one word. Like that one dude on social media, he always breaks down the Cowboys and all that. Man, the Washington Redskins was trash, man. They was trash. They were trash. They were horrible.
You know what it was? You know what it reeked
They were
of?
horrible. Trash.
Like you know what it reeked of? Hey, Izzy, like you can attest to this because you was former Chicago public school product. Remember, like going to a game and like a team playing Simeon in basketball, and like you try to tell yourself like, hey, it's just another game, but the guys across the way like they see that Simeon on that jersey, and it's just like, oh, the moment's too big. This guy's a better athlete, and like they got freaked out by the name on the jersey versus just playing the game. Right? Like how many times have we seen the team lose a game before the game even start? Like, hey man, we playing the Bills, we playing the Chiefs, we playing the Patriots with Tom Brady. Like that. Like the game over, like if that like the game's over before it even starts. That's what this was. Like they came out, it's like, hey, damn, that's Buffalo. That's
Josh Allen.
That's Josh Allen, man. Like that's Stephon Diggs. Like, god damn.
But this kind of game was always coming for the Washington Commanders. They were way out kicking their coverage. They're not this good. They're not. They won. They played some bad football teams and won 2 games.
Mhm.
They beat the Cardinals and they beat the Broncos, and we're seeing what the Broncos are now. So
every dog has his day. Yeah, but this was I already knew this was just not a good game. But some of those throws that Sam Howell was throwing, I mean, hey man, this ain't the ACC, brother. You know, those windows close a lot quicker in the NFL, and especially against the elite team like the Buffalo Bills. So you're gonna have to go back in the film room and realize that you can't make some of those throws in this league. So kudos to the Buffalo Bills defense for smelling blood in the water like some sharks and taking advantage of it.
Moving on from this game, the battle in the AFC South that didn't turn really into much of a battle at all. 37-17 as Houston Texans kind of beat down the Jacksonville Jaguars. CJ Stroud had a fantastic game and probably the best game by any rookie quarterback so far this year. He threw for 280 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Damian Pierce got back into the promised land with 1 touchdown. Tank Dell continues back-to-back games with a touchdown. Seems to have a good rapport there with CJ Stroud. And then on the Jacksonville Jaguars side, pretty disappointing to see them come out and play like this. 27-40 for Trevor Lawrence, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Travis Etienne, 88 yards rushing. Tank Bigsby got his first NFL touchdown in this game. Evan Ingram, 7 for 67. Christian Kirk had the lone receiving touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think Andrew Beck, the guy who got the long punt return in this game, I think it's his first career touchdown. So congratulations to him.
I forget the other 2 guys. I know Justin Herbert's one of them, but it's CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, and somebody else as a rookie in their first 3 games to throw for over 900 yards. I don't know if David you can figure that.
Cam.
Was it Cam? Oh, Cam Newton. Was Cam Newton. Yeah, so when you're in at least Cam Newton's and also Justin Herbert, who's an elite quarterback in this league, when you're in that conversation as a rookie, I mean, that's pretty damn good. We talked about it. You know, they're going to throw it. I mean, that's their offense, man. They're going to throw it a ton. And they're gonna live and die with this guy's arm. This guy looks like he looks like a professional quarterback. Now he didn't throw it 40-something yards like he did last game. 30 yards, he was quite efficient. 30 times he was quite efficient. But he looks like a professional quarterback. The ball goes where it needs to go. He makes great, quick decisions. He's well coached with D'Amico Ryan and those guys. So they got a good one there on their hands, and I think this is just the start of something good for the Houston Texans, in my opinion, with CJ Stroud. But I am very disappointed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought the defense would be a lot better, especially against the Houston Texans going up against a rookie quarterback like this. You got to really dial it up against this guy. Throw some different looks at him. They were just stale the whole game. They let a quarterback just a rookie quarterback just pick them apart, be comfortable in the pocket all game long. And so, Jacksonville's got a lot of growing up to do as well.
I think that's one of the problems with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? They just don't generate a lot of pass rush on the quarterback. Like that's why they've pretty much lost the last 2 games that they played. Like their defense is just not good. Like it's just not.
Okay, so y'all 13 and 24. Do y'all know what that is? Y'all know what those numbers represent? 13 and 24?
No.
That's Trevor Lawrence's record as a starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 13.
Oh, yeah, because he had a horrible first year.
Got a horrible first year. 2 bad games back-to-back for Trevor Lawrence. Now, all I ask is, like, I don't ask for much when it comes to, holding quarterbacks accountable and stuff. I just want the energy to stay the same. That's all. That's all. Like, if a quarterback has a bad game, call him out for having a bad game. Trevor Lawrence, he's had 2 bad games back to back.
One really. I mean, really 3. He wasn't particularly good against the Colts either. They just won that game.
No.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah. I'll give you that one, Dave. But at the end of the day, like what we ask of is when we say accountability, like you have everything that you need to be successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the all-pro wide receiver in Calvin Ridley. You got Christian Kirk, who we laughed at for giving all that money to, and he said, "Hey, watch this." right? He did all that. You got your college teammate and Travis Etienne. You know, like you got weapons galore. You got everything you need to be successful, and you can't 17 points. Like you were supposed to be in the MVP conversation. I'm looking at 736, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks in 3 games. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown a game. You throwing 1 touchdown pass, one in each of the first 3 games. We're not like not you, not Sunshine, not the guy that's been the perennial first overall pick since he was 17 years old, not the guy that they got his Hall of Fame jacket already made for. No. Get it together, Sunshine.
Yeah, no, I think just that this team as a whole just needs to grow up, and you know they had some adding Calvin Ridley. I know it was all love the first
at
game,
home. This is at home, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just they just have to put all the pieces together. He's got to find a way to get Evan Ingram. He's getting Evan Ingram the ball.
I mean,
he's got to find a way to get
lost
Calvin
his left
Ridley.
tackle in the offseason, but
he's got. They're gonna have to find a rhythm. Right now, they're not in the rhythm. Right now, I still got them winning the AFC South, but they got to grow up real fast.
Because nobody else is really trying to win the AFC South. So moving on from this game, talking about the AFC South, Indianapolis Colts shockingly 2-1 as Gardner Minshew comes in and gets the victory against the Baltimore Ravens in overtime, 22-19, in a game that Baltimore kind of let slip away as they were up 14 to 10 or something like that in the fourth quarter, and the Colts were able to kick field goals and come back in. Also, shout out to Matt Gay, first kicker to ever have, I think, 5 kicks of 50-plus yards in the history of the league. So shout out to him. Gardner Minshew, 27-44, 227, 1 touchdown. Zach Moss over the century mark, 30 carries in this game as well. Michael Pittman, 9 for 77. Zach Moss also had a receiving touchdown. The dude had a billion touches in this game. Lamar Jackson.
My bad. Go ahead.
Two rushing touchdowns. He also was 22 of 31 for 201 yards. Zay Flowers, leading receiver for the Baltimore Ravens.
Matt Gay had 4 50-plus yard field goals this game, 54, and each the last 3 were from 53. And obviously the last one was for the game. If you're Baltimore, you're feeling like you got, you let one get away, but at the same time, you're feeling like you got hosed a little bit. Like the refs missed the face mask call on Zay Flowers, and they missed a DPI. Like, again, you're right. Like, if you're a referee and you see this, like, it's right in front of you, do your job. Like, I understand you don't want to, like, quote unquote, control the outcome, but a penalty is a penalty. If it's a penalty in the first 5 minutes of the game, it's a penalty in the last 5 minutes of the game. Make the call. Because, now, you get, I think you get more scrutiny for not making the call than you do for making the call. Because if you make the call, at least you can say that's like David likes to, yeah, that's a penalty. That's a flag. You got to throw that. But if you don't make that call, now everybody looking at you for not doing your job. Go ahead.
I was gonna say something's in the air too, because I'm not used to seeing Justin Tucker miss field goals.
And that's another thing. That's another thing. Like I think that's what it's like everybody's like coming at Harbaugh a little bit, because like there was a situation where the Ravens could have kicked the field goal for the win, and they went for it on 4th down instead. And the camera just kept cutting back to Justin Tucker. Like the Ravens would come out of the huddle, and then all of a sudden it cuts to Justin Tucker. Lamar runs the play, they don't get it, it cuts back to Justin Tucker. And they just kept the camera on Justin Tucker for all right, we get it. They didn't go to
that passing, but that I was gonna say pass interference. It wasn't called a pass interference, but it should have been called a pass interference. Towards the end of the game. That was blatant. I can't believe the refs, pick and choose. And we talked about this. We talked about this in chat. Yeah, we talked about this all the time. Like, they pick and choose what they want to call pass interference on. That was the most blatant one all day. I can't believe you swallow your whistle on that. That right there would have won the Ravens the football game, but it is what it is. I get sick of these inconsistencies by these NFL referees on what pass interference
That's
is.
it. Just be consistent. Like it's like you can't sit here and say, all right, well, this is, and I understand like it's not the same ref, crew ref in every game. Like I get that, but they all follow the same rule book. And personal personal interpretation is nowhere in that rule book. So it's like it can't be like one ref can't say, well, to me, I would have thrown that flag, and then another ref would be like, well, I wouldn't have. Like that's the problem right there.
And you got people in the booth that are talking about it and having contradict. So, anyways, moving on from that game, yeah, but with Ravens, you got to feel like you let one slip away. Moving on from that game, we got the Seattle Seahawks go to 2-1 as they keep the Carolina Panthers undefeated. As Andy Dalton got the start for the Carolina Panthers, he was pretty decent in this game actually. 34-58, 2 touchdowns. Miles Sanders got his first touchdown of the season as well. And Adam Thielen had himself a game. 11 catches for 145 yards and a touchdown. G.J. Shark also had the first touchdown from Andy Dalton in this game. Geno Smith, just okay in this game. 23 of 36, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Kenneth Walker got his first 2 touchdowns of the season this week. And DK Metcalf, 6 catches for 112. And Jake Bobo, I think that is his first catch of the season. He had the 1 touchdown, first of his career.
Okay, on the Seattle side, this is what I like. 36 pass attempts to 33 run attempts. Love it. Balance. Absolutely love it. Right? 296 passing to 146 on the ground. Again, love it. I would just like to see I know Kenneth Walker's your bell cow, but I would like to see Zach Charbonnet get double-digit carry attempts. Wouldn't you, Izzy? For me, it's not fantasy purposes. I don't care about like that.
He was close to it. They gave him 9 carries.
I would like to see him, like 10, 12 carries, Yeah,
at least 3 or 4 more. I mean, Kenneth Walker's just come off an injury as you
as he is, right? As is,
and so you would like to see you to kind of lay off a little bit on 18 carries and give him split the carry load. I think Zach Charbonnet's more than capable of splitting the load with Kenneth Walker until you're feeling more comfortable. But I mean, he showed he was healthy in this game. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 18. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, are in line to, have one of the worst records, probably the worst record in football.
Well, we got that first round pick, so we get to DK Metcalf, man amongst boys, 6 for 112, and it's just what can you do? Like that's 6'5", 2 whatever. That's big dude.
Yeah, man.
Carolina side, I don't want to see Andy Dalton throwing the ball 58 times, man. Like that's just no.
Yeah, and you go out in free agency and you sign Miles Sanders. Like you only give him. I know he wasn't. Carries. I know he didn't run the ball well. He had 9 carries in this game.
9 carries. They had 14 carries as a whole team. And I agree with you. 58 passing yards, and you're only down. Teams abandon the run way too easy. So fast. They're only down 10 going into 4th quarter. I mean, what's there to panic? Keep kind of run the ball. I mean, I don't even know what the numbers look like before halftime, but you had a 1-point lead going into the half. I don't know. I think at that point, you want to try to run the ball, slow it down a little bit.
Right. To your point, Izzy, they made it a 1-score game 5 seconds into the 4th quarter. It was 22-20.
Yeah, Miles Sanders got the lone rushing touchdown of the game, for on their side. By the way, have you ever seen this Jake Bobo touchdown? And his toe tap job is quite the spectacle. Moving on from this game, let's move on to the Chicago Bears and what happened at Arrowhead as they got beat down 41-10. Justin Fields, 11 of 22, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He also led the team in rushing with 11 carries for 47 yards. DJ Moore finally gets into the end zone in garbage time in this game, 3 for 41 and a touchdown. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 33, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. Blaine Gabbert came in through 2 picks. Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire both had rushing touchdowns. Travis Kelce and Jerick McKinnon all had receiving touchdowns. as the Kansas City Chiefs may have become also the most annoying team to watch probably again in the NFL, as long as all of the other stuff continues to be a thing.
You talking about the Taylor Swift stuff?
Yeah, I literally could care less, and I do not want to watch.
Bro, like again, we don't care. Like
every time the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be on TV, we're going to be seeing Taylor Swift, like shots of her in the box, whatever. Like they're going to have a camera.
Taylor Swift.
Really tough.
They're not even.
Also added like all the salt.
Travis
to the wound,
Kelce's jersey sales
spiked up.
I don't know. I think we lost.
Yeah, Travis Kelce's jersey sales spiked, and I'm like, y'all got me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's jersey sales spiked up, and I'm like, for what? They're just gonna break up in 6 months. Like, then what? Like, anyway, like again, this is the upper echelon. We're the bottom of the barrel. At this point, I don't know what you can say. I don't know what you can do. Like, the sad part is this fan base is they're well past moral victories. Chicago could come out against Denver next week and score 30 points. But if they lose, no one's going to care that they scored 30 points. Why? Because they still lost.
I think the bigger thing is that this defense that they went out and spent a bunch of money in the offseason and supposed to be Matt Eberflus's calling card, right? This defense hasn't been good. Putting it, not saying they haven't been good is kind of. I mean, the offense has been the offense. Like, we didn't expect the offense to take a huge leap from year 2 to year 3. But you expected, given the money spent in the offseason, given the promise that you saw out of the rookies they had last year, this defense has been abysmal this year. Like, abysmal. You can't generate a pass rush. Linebacking core, you can't cover anybody, like in the linebacking core or in the secondary.
You can't get off the field on third down.
It's like Scooby-Doo. Right, you take the mask off, of the villain. It's like T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. Man, those guys, you think they can cover people, and then you take the mask off, they looking like real Blake Martinez. They looking real Blake Martinez-ish.
And what's crazy is like we saw Terrell Edmonds do it. Like he was literally doing this in Buffalo. Like, he literally priced himself out of Buffalo because his play was just that good. And on top of that, like, I don't know why, but every time you look up, somebody's hurt. Like, what are y'all doing?
And not to mention the body language from the Chicago Bears, even when this game wasn't a laughing a shit show.
It got there pretty fast.
Yeah, they got there fast by halftime. And I say the Scooby-Doo thing because, I mean, how many tackles T.J. Edwards had? 17. How many did this guy have? All of them are like 5 yards down the field. It's like, they looking, Blake Martinez. I used to talk a lot of trash about Blake Martinez. He's getting 100 plus some tackles a year, but every single one of them, none of them matter. They ain't behind the scrimmage. They ain't at the line. They 5 yards down the field. Okay, so and that's because the defensive line isn't getting the push. And I keep telling people, man. I keep telling Bears fans. I keep telling people out today. I'm like, hey, man. Getting a new quarterback next season isn't going to help your issues. So your offensive line.
That's two things I want to.
Your offensive line is not. Your offensive line is still not up to par. Your defensive line is still not up to par. You can't really cover anybody because you don't get a pass rush. So the guys are back there throwing it left and right. Your offense, your coaches aren't putting your quarterback in a position to win. So it doesn't matter if you go out next season, you get rid of Justin Fields, you go get Caleb Williams, you go get Drake May, you go get whoever comes out of that draft. It doesn't matter. They're going to struggle in this offense. They're going to struggle with this coach. And I don't even think they're going to have Matt Eberflus as a head coach. And you can't keep going through. You got to get it right. And I said Eric B. I said Eric Bieniemy for a reason because Chicago really needs an offensive head coach. They haven't had one since who was the guy they got from the Canadian Football League after Lovey? Mark Trestman. That was supposed to be and then Matt Nagy. And then it was Matt Nagy, and he worked out. He got you guys to the playoffs 2 years in a row, twice. And he was semi-successful, but at the same time, he didn't want Trubisky. That was part of John Fox's regime. So you got to get a quarterback. You got to get a coach that's going to come in here and he's going to fix Justin Fields. He's going to fix these offensive deficiencies. I think a guy like Eric Bieniemy, a guy that's with offense that has an offensive prodigy, is going to fix this guy. Not Matt Eberflus, not Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy's offense stinks. Matt Eberflus is a defensive guy, and his schemes suck. And I just keep trying to tell Bears fans that Justin Fields is a scapegoat. He's very talented. And he having him as a scapegoat and getting a new quarterback every single season is not going to work. And you know where and I want to say this last thing because I'm going deep into it, and you guys are Bears fans, and I've watched the Bears a lot, and I watch them closely. I think a problem, even though Trubisky made the playoffs 2 times, I think keeping Cuddy for 2 more years at least and letting Trubisky play under him would have boded well for the Chicago Bears in the long run because of the fact that you have a quarterback that can actually watch a veteran utilize an offense, run an offense at a professional level, and then by the time it's ready to give him the reins, he's ready to go by year 3. And that's what they should do instead of trying to let's get a quarterback and he's going to make a miracle with a weak ass offensive line. That's not going to happen.
To address a couple of your points, the media Justin Fields needs help, and what do the Bears do? They draft defensive linemen. Yeah, because we got gashed last season. Like, don't you think that makes what good is scoring 30 points if your defense is just going to give up 31? We saw that story. They passed up Jalen Carter and took Darnell Wright. Jalen Carter would be getting triple teamed if he was here, and no one else is winning their one-on-ones. Safe to say, Darnell Wright has probably been the lone bright spot of the offense so far. Justin Fields is doing this, and it's like, to Izzy's point, like, yeah, while Justin Fields is not completely absolvent of any blame, the quarter like they literally just don't scheme past that initial first drive. If that initial first drive doesn't end in points, it's almost like, oh damn, what do we do now? I'm glad DJ Moore got a touchdown, but at the same time, like what I saw from yesterday was you also got to help your QB out. You drop him like Shaq Barrett talking about they're not using you right, and you talking about tell me about it, and then against the Kansas City Chiefs, Justin Fields throws you an absolute dime that if you make one cutback, you probably get 50, 60 yards on that one catch, and what do? You drop it. It's right in the breadbasket, right alongside the Kansas City Chiefs sideline, and you drop it. He throws another deep ball to Chase Claypool, and he drops it. Help your QB. He hits Khalil Herbert on a little screen pass. It gets a little momentum. He gets stripped, and you give Pat Mahomes a short field to work with, and that ended about that. The results of that ended about how you thought it would. So, like, yeah, you want to scapegoat Justin Fields? Be my guest. You want to know what happened? Like, you want to know something? Whether it was Bryce Young or Justin Fields, guess what? The results are still the same. We're still 0-3.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about one of probably the most shocking result of the weekend. Also cost me a survivor pick. Arizona welcomes in the Dallas Cowboys and beats them 28-16. Dak Prescott just mediocre in this game. If you want to putting it nicely, 25-40, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tony Pollard 23 carries for 122 yards. Michael Gallup, leading receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and Rico Dowdle, yeah, had the lone receiving touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. Joshua Dobbs continues to be a good story this year as he's played well this year so far. 17-21, 1 touchdown. James Conner 14-98, 1 touchdown. Rondale Moore also had a 45-yard touchdown run, and Marquise Brown 2 weeks in a row with a touchdown receiving. And Michael Wilson, leading receiver, 2 catches for 86, including a 69-yard completion. Dallas puts a stinker up on Sunday.
Who does Dallas play next?
Hold on. The Patriots.
Okay, I can't even say they was looking ahead. I can't even use that as a valid excuse. because it's really not a valid excuse.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I wonder what the impact is. So, like Trayvon Diggs gets injured real late. I mean, tears his ACL real late towards the week here. I think it was on Thursday. The game was on Sunday. I wonder if that was kind of like losing a brother and kind of affected this team a little bit. But you're an NFL player, man. You shouldn't let stuff like that. Injuries happen. They just didn't show up. They thought all we have to do is show up in the big toaster. We'll beat the Arizona Cardinals. And the Arizona Cardinals were like, nah, man, we're a fucking NFL team. You're not just gonna show up in our house and embarrass us. We're gonna win the game.
This is the second game in a row Josh Dobbs has played his butt off, man.
Yeah.
I mean, 17 to 21, 189 yards, a touchdown. I don't know what the hell that breakthrough on that one pass was. Who was that to? Was that to who was that? Was that to Michael Wilson? Was it?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? For the Dallas defense that's been pretty damn good, pretty great, best defense in the NFL so far. And that's not a Trayvon Diggs thing. That's a mental lapse thing on defense right there. You only get to Josh Dobbs, 2 times? He got sacked twice. I would have thought he could have got sacked. You know, the way you guys were bringing pressure all season long, you could have got to him about 7 times, right? I was expecting Micah Parsons to put his fingerprints all over this game like TJ Watt did last night, right? So my thing is another guy I wanted to shout out to because I was watching the highlights of this guy, man, Kazir White. I mean, dude is flying. He's flying all over the ball.
That pick he got was more of a what the hell was that? Dak? Like what? Like that's that couldn't have been the read on the play. Josh Dobbs is playing well because no one expects a damn thing from him.
Yeah.
Like if Josh Dobbs goes out next game and he absolutely sucks, and he will because it's the 49ers, you know what they're gonna say? Oh well. You saw like oh well. Like seriously.
Seriously,
no,
you're
it's
right.
true.
You're right.
It's
true. It's true.
Like, and
there's no expectations. He's playing with house money right now,
bro. He playing with double the house money. Like whatever the house money is, double that. That's what Joshua Dobbs is playing with. David, I know you lost the Survivor pick. The Dallas Cowboys, if you remember, David, they're my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, hey, you can't read too much into one game. And this is one thing I forgot to say about the Bears game, and I'll jump right back to this one. This is the longest 3 weeks of my fucking life. Like, this is the longest 3 weeks ever, bro. Like I could see if this was like, mid-season, like towards the end. This is week 3. There's 14 more games to go of this.
Hey, right? And let me tell you, as a whole, the Arizona Cardinals, as James Conner, 7 yards per as a whole. Rushing the football, 7 yards a carry, 7 yards a pop on the ground for the Arizona Cardinals. That means you were physical, more physical than the Dallas Cowboys team.
And that shouldn't happen. And so
shouldn't happen.
So again, if you're the Cowboys, again, it's only week 3. Like you're looking at it like this: a bad game, get the dirt out your mouth, get that nasty taste out your mouth, whatever. It's week 3. You have 14 more games to go. That's it. I mean, your saving grace is somehow, some way you hope, you pray that somehow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Eagles tonight. That way you're still
Philadelphia's up 3-0 right now.
Yeah.
And moving on from this game, let's talk Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers going into the Death Star, pulling out the victory 23-18.
I'll let y'all have this one.
Kenny Pickett, 16-28, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Najee Harris, 19 for 65, no touchdowns. George Pickens, 4 for 75. Calvin Austin and Pat Freiermuth had the lone receiving touchdowns for the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the Raiders side of this, Jimmy Garoppolo, wildly inaccurate, wildly inefficient, 28 of 44, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs, 17 of 62. This has been his best rushing game of the year, and Devontae Adams continues to be excellent. 13 catches for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. But all anybody's talking about right now is that decision to kick that field goal right around 2 minutes left in the game. You're down 8. You're inside of the 20-yard line, and you kick a field goal knowing you're going to have to get the ball back and try to score another touchdown regardless. yet you have 3 timeouts, so the scenario doesn't change if you just go for it. It was one of the worst coaching decisions I've seen. It was, if not this weekend, but this entire season. It's right up there with that Brandon Staley going for it on that 4th down.
They got 2 chances because remember the personal foul going over the center on the first field goal.
Yeah.
So you got another shot to score a touchdown and to tie the game up. So and then you're literally where'd they kick this? It was a chipper. It was like in between. It was like they were on the 7 or the 10 or something like that. I can't remember. But I was watching the game on the plane, and I was over there making
26-yard field goal. 26.
I was making faces like, what the hell is wrong with this dude, man? And people probably looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with Josh McDaniels right now? Because this guy. He's like proving to me that he's not a head ball coach, because they have to be a head ball coach in the NFL. You got to have cojones, and you don't have cojones, brother. You don't. You're playing it safe. You're kicking a field goal. You thinking your defense is going to get you off the field when they can't. And I know they had a 3rd and 4, and that 3rd and 4 with that play design with the flood route, it was kind of like a pick route where it was like a slot wheel kind of. That was a great play, but I saw it coming from a mile away. As soon as Kenny Pickett started moving to that way, I said, "Oh man, the Raiders are done. This is going to be a 1st down. It's over with." And this is exactly what happened. So yeah, Josh McDaniels, he's gonna have to have some bigger cojones, and go for it on 4th down there, because it's do or die, man. Wins matter in the NFL. You can't be dropping close games like this. When it counts for you right there.
And another thing I want to get at, so like again, like I know a lot of it always comes back to the Bears somehow, some way, right? I know a lot of people are trolling the Bears right now, but I just got, like, if you're a Raiders fan, if you're a Colts fan, if you're a Cardinals fan, y'all closer to poverty, like y'all right there with us. Don't act like y'all, high and mighty. Especially them Raiders. Like, y'all ain't been good since 2000.
You haven't been good since the Tuck rule.
Like, y'all ain't been worth a damn since y'all ain't been rolled for damn since then, right?
I thought them getting rid of Rick Biache was a big mistake.
Big mistake
on their part.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake.
So,
so like I've said it. I've said this time and time again. Like, Derek Carr never had a top 20 defense with the Raiders. You scapegoated him. He's gone. You can't blame Derek Carr no more. So when you come up short now, who you gonna blame? Jimmy G's supposed to be the savior. Jimmy G's a winner, right, David? That's what they told us. Is he? Jimmy G's a winner. What does he won?
He's Josh McDaniels' prodigy.
What does he won? He won Super Bowls that he won Super Bowls that he was barely a contributor to. Like, what does he want? He goes to San Francisco, can't stay healthy. What does he want? What good is winning all these games if you can't win them when they matter?
Yep.
What's he want?
But yeah, it's a tough day to be a Raiders fan. It's also a tough day to be a lot of fans of a lot of teams. Hopefully our team won this weekend.
It was a tough weekend for the state of Colorado.
It's true. The only way it could get worse if Nikola Jokic decides to retire, like right now.
Oh God.
But anyways, this has been Prime Sports World. This has been our Week 3 recap. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We're going to be breaking down Monday Night Football, which is happening right now, tomorrow. And then we're going to give you our predictions for week number 4. You don't want to miss that content. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, we got the plethora of streaming platforms as well. I'm David Huffman, Israel Vera, TJ Hopkins. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
Bring the heat, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Win the college football show.
On Fridays. Friday.
Hey, I'm gonna join because like me and you gonna have some words about this prime time stuff. Me and you gonna have some words, my friend.
Man, I've been a supporter. Okay, we can do that. We can talk.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Enjoy the Monday Night Football games. You got a double dose today as well. This won't happen again for a while until Christmas
next year.
No, Christmas.
Okay.
So enjoy it. You all have a good night and stay safe out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow.